Romans 11:28-29. As concerning the gospel, they are enemies, but they are beloved for the Father's sakes. For the gifts and calling of God are without repentance. Even if some Israelites resist the gospel, they are still beloved because of the promises made to the fathers, and God doesn't take back his calling. If he chose Israel, he will finish what he started. Final Dummies Point. Romans 11 is not about God replacing Israel with the church or with the world. It's about how God is restoring all of Israel, both the near and the far, the natural and the wild, the broken and the blind, back into one holy family tree. The family tree God never forgot, based on Romans chapter 11, explained for dummies. Once upon a time, there was a great family tree, the olive tree of Israel. This tree grew from a holy root, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, chosen by God himself. But as time passed, not all the branches stayed faithful. Some rebelled, stopped listening, and forgot who they were. They got cut off, not destroyed forever, but set aside. The family looked broken. People began asking, has God cast away his people? Did he give up on Israel? But Paul, a true Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin, shouted, God forbid! No, God didn't throw away his people. Just like back in the days of Elijah, when the prophet thought he was all alone, God reminded him, I have 7,000 who have not bowed to Baal. In other words, God always keeps a remnant, a small group of Israelites who still walk in truth. And in Paul's time, and ours, there's still a remnant chosen by grace. But what about the rest of Israel? The answer is hard but true. They were blinded. God gave them a spirit of slumber, eyes that couldn't see, and ears that wouldn't hear. They rejected the truth, and so God let them stay asleep. Even King David spoke of this, saying their blessings would become a trap because they refused to understand. So did they fall forever? Again, God forbid. Their fall opened the door for Gentiles. But don't be confused. These Gentiles aren't just random nations. They're mostly scattered Israelites, especially from the northern kingdom, who'd lost their identity and were now living like strangers. God used Judah's fall to wake up the rest of the family, and when those Gentile Israelites started coming back to the truth, it was meant to make the rest of Judah jealous, to stir them back to righteousness too. Paul says, if their fall helped you get back in, imagine how powerful it will be when they return too. He calls this whole process a mystery, something hidden from most people. But we're not supposed to be ignorant. This mystery is about how all Israel, both the scattered and the near, will be saved. Paul uses a picture of the olive tree. The natural branches, Judah and believing Israelites, were broken off because of unbelief. The wild branches, scattered Israelites living as Gentiles, were grafted back in. But Paul warns, don't get cocky. Just because you were grafted back in doesn't make you better. The root supports you. You don't support the root. If God didn't spare the natural branches, he won't spare the proud either. Stay humble, stay faithful, and stay in the truth. And the broken branches, they're not done for. If they return in faith, God will graft them in again. He's the master gardener. He knows how to restore his family tree. The goal isn't to replace the old branches. It's to heal the tree completely. At the end, Paul says this is all part of God's unbreakable covenant with Israel. There shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. That's not a message to the world. It's a promise to Jacob's children, the 12 tribes of Israel. Even now, some of Israel may seem like enemies of the truth, but Paul reminds us, as touching the election, they are beloved for the Father's sake. Why? Because God's gifts and calling are without repentance. That means God doesn't change his mind. He chose Israel then, and he's still restoring Israel now. The family feud and the promised reunion. A dummy story about the two kingdoms and the lost tribes of Israel. A long time ago, Israel was one big family, 12 tribes, all descended from Jacob, whom God renamed Israel. This family had one God, one land, and one law. But after the reign of King Solomon, something tragic happened. The family had a major breakup. Israel split into two kingdoms. The southern kingdom, called Judah, made up of Judah, Benjamin, and later some Levites. The northern kingdom, called Israel, or Ephraim, made up of the other 10 tribes. You can read about this split in 1 Kings 11:31, where the prophet tells Jeroboam, "Behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee." Why did God allow this? Because Israel kept breaking his commandments and chasing after idols. The Most High gave them warnings, but they didn't listen. Eventually, the northern kingdom became so wicked, God divorced them. Jeremiah 3:8 says, "And I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce." The 10 tribes were scattered among the nations. They lost their land, their language, and even their identity. They became known as the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But the story doesn't end there. Even